Hello, my name is Jennifer Stewart, and this is my presentation on foster youth and the classroom. In this particular demonstration, we will cover foster child concerns like classroom behavior, personal struggles, and LGBTQ. I had chosen these struggles because they concern at least some small element in an individual's path to adulthood. In the realm of classroom behavior, we will discuss methods that approach how to help these youth develop favorable character. When not in the spotlight of public attention, foster students will need a strong mentor to help them disconnect and reflect on what they want from life. Carrots. He was throwing carrots across the room again. I had enough and asked John, a 7th grade foster youth, to step outside in the classroom. He refused at first, but once I picked up the phone to dial the office, he cooperated. I'll have to admit, John knows how to put on a show. His biological father died of pancreatic cancer in September of that year, and his mother was in grief. She ended up committing suicide 2 weeks later. He had no relations that would honor his upbringing. What's worse, he was convinced that being parentless warranted him the right, or obligation, to raise himself. Once outside, I asked him, "Why do you insist on throwing carrots at your classmates?" "Why are you so salty?" he retorted, his ego swelling from the laughter of his peers. Honestly, I did not have my wit for this group and couldn't think of anything I could do to reel in some cooperation. He threw a few more insults from the doorway, and the best I could see was to ask him to leave with an office referral. The struggle became physical as he tried to wrestle the clipboard from my hand. He screamed, "You can't touch me, and you can't send me to the office." In this presentation, we'll cover the following: statistics, consequences, interventions and adaptations, behavioral issues, belonging in school, LGBTQ, and in the end, the stats. It is estimated that 400,000 out of 50.7 million children are placed in foster care at any moment of the year. That's approximately 0.08% of youth. With students like John, his influence was over the entire class and myself. Yes, he represents 0.08% of our population, but the effect of living in foster care ripples to that of every student, family member, and professional personnel within a screaming distance. And while 0.08% may not look bad, that percentage rears an ugly face once they either emancipate or run away. After all, around 30% of our homeless population have lived in foster care as a youth. What are the consequences? Children under foster care supervision experience problems in behavior while enrolled in public schools. For many children, school is a constant reminder that they are indeed foster children without a true home. Constant supervision of these children via the courts, caseworkers, and therapists may serve as a hindrance to a foster child's self-worth. The system can diminish their sense of belonging. While in the classroom, it is no wonder foster children act out. They get so much official attention for their inescapable situation that goals for academic success and character are ruled personal standards can take a back seat as far as directing emotions. Interventions and adaptations. It is a general consensus that foster youth need to learn how to develop close, important relationships. Most of these children have their best coping skills tested under the stress of being in foster care. Basic social skills either weaken with alienation, are forgotten under stress, or written off as being useless when their needs are unmet. Mentors, who are what can help make a child feel safe and sure of themselves. Designing interventions that meet the needs of a healthy mentoring program have proven effective for the development of enriched youth. Encouraged in mentoring programs should be that each trip, slip, and fall is a learning opportunity. Still, while foster youth may not come directly to you for advice, try to be aware and deliberate in modeling citizenship. Foster youth and behavioral issues. While students in foster programs have instability in their lives outside of the classroom, inside the classroom is the perfect spot for them to gain social skills for the real world. This is vital considering 80% of foster youth suffer from some form of mental disorder or behavioral issue. Struggling foster children need a quality safe space, given opportune choices, and treated like they matter. Boys Town, an excellent resource, offers videos and trainings for teachers who are dealing with the most difficult students. More specifically, pipeline schools. These are schools where students who are pipelined into the prison system, homelessness, or foster care can benefit from a more compassionate approach to discipline. Steph Jensen argues that zero tolerance holds no place or effect on students who already feel they've reached the end of the line. I've provided a link to the Boys Town video that talks about the failure of having a zero tolerance environment and what can be done for change. Foster youth and belonging. Dr. John DeGarmo, an expert on nurturing foster youth and making connections in the classroom, is worth checking out. He does tend to use faith and spirituality when sharing his expertise, and if that appeals to you, he wrote a book specifically for teachers and other adults involved with surveillancing of foster youth. Helping Foster Children in School, a guide for foster parents, social workers, and teachers. If I'm ever faced with another mentoring dilemma, he better believe I'll be emailing him. Foster youth and LGBTQ. While we may all come to the classroom with a lot of wisdom to offer our students, sometimes the students are overly experienced. I invite you to read Augustine Burroughs' Running with Scissors. This is a coming-of-age memoir written about Augustine growing up in his mother's therapist's house. The therapist had deemed it best if he raised her son with his family. Burroughs explores in detail what it is like for him to be raised in an environment without boundaries. I must warn you, however, this is an adult book and can contain some graphic content. It's not for the faint of heart and may ignite rage or passion. I've never seen the 2006 movie, but I thought the book was legitimate. In the end, I wrote up John's information after he directly threatened to kick my ass. By the end of it all, the cops were asking me about pressing charges, John was taken home by his third foster family within the span of 5 months, and the campus dean was reviewing options for him. He had a long record for misbehavior in such a short amount of time. Rather than having him expelled, his new foster family removed him from the school and enrolled him somewhere else. It is so important foster students can find their worth. We do what we can every day. Unfortunately, I could not be John's hero that year. However, I'm more wiser for it. I peered into the mind of an angry child who could not grip his emotions. No system is perfect either, but the best advice I have ever received, and I'd like to pass it on to you, is just be there.